Hello there, it is a Tuesday, which means it's time for another in real life video. This week, we're taking another general viewer submitted question. As always, if you have questions that you would like to possibly submit, feel free to do so in the comments section. Helps a ton if you include a question mark because it helps me sort of control F for them as I'm going through and repopulating my ever-growing list. And of course, as always, if the question is a little bit too personal or breaks terms of service in some way or something like that, you know, obviously I can't answer it or whatever, right? But anyway, this week is one that does kind of skirt those lines, I would say. Just kind of, I don't know, I guess narrowly coming under the radar, I guess. I think, right? But regardless, this week's question is from a gentle viewer whose username should be in the bottom portion of the screen right about now. And that is, let me see, load this up. They ask, here's my question. What do you think about YouTube Premium? And does it bring anything to the table for you and other creators? Kind of a loaded one to be asked, I'll say. Kind of a difficult one to really answer without this coming off as like an advertisement or something. And even if I said, like, is there a world in which I'm allowed to say on YouTube that I think YouTube Premium is bad? I would assume so, right? I would assume that you're allowed to do that. Otherwise, there would be some sort of minor revolt, I guess. But this is specifically asking from the perspective of someone who makes videos on YouTube, which I think we'll probably elaborate and sort of extrapolate on whether or not I think it's just generally worth it. Like I said, there's no easy way around this to sort of talk on this topic without it sounding like an advertisement, right? So, I don't know, take that with a huge, like, fistful of salt or whatever. Regardless, as a person who makes videos on YouTube, as a creator, as it were, it's super great, right? It's fantastic. It constitutes I would not even say certainly I would not say a small portion of my revenue on the platform. I wouldn't even say a significant portion. I would say it constitutes a very significant portion of my income on the platform. It has obviously grown over time as they've added sort of more and more benefits to it. But these days, yeah, it is a very substantial amount of the sort of like revenue that I generate from the channel and whatnot. I don't know that I can say anything more specific. Okay, I'll put it this way. If tomorrow suddenly YouTube Premium doesn't exist, right? And nobody, myself included, we're not getting any of the money that we had in the past from that program or whatever, right? Like for whatever reason, they just shut it down. They do some kind of horrible thing and everybody like consequently decides like, oh, well, we're just going to stop using it, right? Everyone just decides unanimously, we're just going to stop using it. Then I would be in quite the pickle. I think a lot of folks would who do this for a living. I would have to probably restructure the channel at the very least, at a minimum. I would have to almost certainly go out and go back to getting like a regular sort of non-internet YouTube creator kind of line of work, right? I would have to work elsewhere. It really depends whether that would be part-time or full-time. Like I said, I would have to restructure the channel, sort of readjust how I handle things here as well. Yeah, that to put into perspective, how significant that percentage is. It's not the lion's share, but it is very significant. It is a very significant amount. So, sort of speaking in that sense, for a person making videos, it's very much worth it. It helps a ton, right? I don't know how else to say it. Speaking as someone who would be considering getting it myself, from that perspective, prospectively looking into getting it myself, I will just say up front, I don't have it. I've never had YouTube Premium. Do I think it's worth it though? I would say yes. But I don't have it because I am incredibly cheap. I am a massive cheapskate. But from my limited knowledge of it, and of course it's easy for me to say it, right? It's incredibly easy for me to say it, that it's worth it, obviously, as someone who makes videos, right? What a ridiculous premise, right? Like I said, it's incredibly difficult to talk about this. But we're trying our best here. Trying our best to sort of answer and extrapolate on the question. I would say, okay, they keep adding benefits to this, right? One of the more recent, I struggle to say recent because it's been this way for a while now. One of the things I always hear people say about it is that in the past, they have had something like a Spotify Premium, right? The interesting thing about YouTube Premium is that it now includes, as of who knows how long, like I said, I've never had it myself. I don't know how long this has been the case. But they say that it now has, YouTube Music rolled up into it. Thus, if you already have Spotify Premium, I think it's like a couple USD's difference or something like that. The pricing differential between YouTube Premium and Spotify Premium. So I have heard, anecdotally, of course, a lot of people say that it's significantly worth it for them to to drop Spotify and go straight for YouTube Premium, because you can play all of your music ad-free or whatever and build up those like playlists or whatever and listen to it. And it's super high value for them that way, because not only do you get that, but you get all the extra benefits of YouTube Premium, right? Which, as we all know, are like an ad-free sort of viewing experience on YouTube. You can download videos and stuff like that to watch them whenever you want, even if you don't have an internet connection. Like I said, it's really tough to talk about this without sounding like an advertisement. One of the other things that they've started rolling into it, and this is actually something that has gotten me to kind of consider doing it myself, because as a person who makes videos, this annoys me a substantial amount. They've been very slowly rolling this out. You have maybe seen this already, regardless of whether or not you have premium. You've maybe seen this already as an option on videos. Under the quality setting, for some videos, you will already see, maybe on all of them? I don't think so. I don't see it on all of them. Maybe you only see it on all of them if you're a premium user. But certainly as someone who doesn't use it, occasionally I will see in the quality settings a higher bitrate version of like a 1080p video, right? Whether you're playing it at 60 or 30 frames per second. Occasionally there will be the option to like, oh, play it now, same frame rate, same resolution, but at a higher bit rate. And folks who know a thing or two about video data and stuff will know that that can substantially bump up the quality of the video, right? Anytime sort of the video quality looks a little muddy, you'll notice this a lot in first-person games, which we play a lot of here on the channel. Like, for instance, if you load up any given Skyrim video, not even one of my own, occasionally during higher action moments, you'll see the crosshairs start to get a little muddy, right? Especially when there's like big spell effects popping off, or the person is looking around very rapidly in a very contrast heavy area. You'll notice sort of the reticle at the center, it gets a little muddy. And once you notice that, you can sort of see, oh, there are other parts of it, like the detail, the textures of the ground, stuff like that. Other parts of it, when spell effects pop off, it starts to get a little muddied, right? It gets a little blurred. That's due to YouTube's compression of the bitrate and stuff. That way, it sort of feeds you data through your internet and makes it kind of like lesser. And that way they have less data that they're running from their backend on the servers, feeding it to you. Having higher bitrate means that the muddiness is far less prevalent. You will hear people as well trying to get around this by way of sort of rendering out a video that is 1080p, but you can falsely upscale it to like 4K or higher. And true enough, for the viewer, you select that option to display it in 4K or whatever, and it definitely like loads down your internet a substantial amount, an equivocal amount. But the secret benefit of it, what secretly comes with it, is the higher bitrate. So even if it is actually the uploader, the content creator, or whoever is hosting the video on YouTube, they have still got the video in 1080p, technically. Being able to have it pump out the quality as through the player, the YouTube client player, at 4K, gets you a higher degree of bitrate, right? Because it wants to sort of better support 4K video. This sort of gets around that, right? This sort of makes it to where you can just have a 1080p video with higher bitrate to where it looks better. In truth, for most videos on YouTube, well, actually, I don't know. For a lot of videos on YouTube, like for instance, this video, where it is someone talking into a camera, high bitrate isn't actually necessary, right? You actually get very little value out of higher bitrate because there isn't a whole lot of scene swapping between high contrast areas. There's not a whole bunch of action and stuff going on. The catch is, though, it is specifically really nice to have if you are someone who watches video games on YouTube or anything that has like a similar degree of action on video games. Because video games are so high action, you're sort of going through different scenes and scenery at a much more rapid pace. You will notice the difference a lot more significantly. It works, or I don't know, it benefits you significantly more than really anyone else. The other catch, though, is that not all the time when we have, at least speaking for myself, and I'm very sure quite a few viewers here as well, not every time that we have a video game video up are we giving it 100% of our attention, right? So it's kind of an extra nice thing to have, to where, oh, if I do decide to look over at the video, something funny has happened, something interesting has happened, I decide to look at the video while I'm having like a second screen experience or whatever, it will be just a little bit higher quality, right? Or if, for instance, you're looking at trailers for games and stuff that are coming out, you sort of always get the experience where, yeah, playing the actual game yourself, if you're playing on like a console or you've got moderate to good hardware on your PC, every time you go to actually play the game, it looks better than it does on YouTube, right? And they sort of try to get around this by having, I believe they have certain things in their back end to where stuff that is registered as like an ad or from a corporate entity, I think maybe they get access to higher bitrate than people who create videos, than people like myself. I'm not sure if that's true, though. I don't actually know. That's just scuttlebutt that I've heard. So take that with a grain of salt, as before. But still, regardless, as is frequently the case, you will load up the game yourself. You'll see the trailer. And the game itself in action looks substantially better than the trailer. Like I mentioned, for instance, you can go look at the Skyrim Anniversary Edition trailers and stuff like that. And although they're very much attempting to highlight in those trailers, like, oh, look, we added in all these additional effects for the Anniversary Edition or whatever, right? Or for the Anniversary Update or the Special Edition or whatever it was. You can sort of look at that, and they even have the comparison shots. And if you have that edition of the game yourself, you can load it up and see for yourself in person, like, oh, this looks substantially better than the trailer. It's often the bitrate, which is the reason why, right? It is that degree of compression coming from YouTube, sort of to alleviate their back-end servers for storage and funneling data to you and sort of like alleviating your bandwidth, because, you know, there's still folks who have bandwidth limitations and stuff for their internet. But if you are not such a person and you do have more, I don't know, free range internet, it's definitely a benefit to consider, I would say. And it is probably, I don't know, the prime reason why I would consider doing it myself, taking the plunge. Like I said, I'm kind of a weird person to ask about this because, on the one hand, right, like I definitely benefit from it. I make videos. But on the other hand, I'm too cheap to get it at present, right? True enough, I listen to music, but I don't listen to it that often to where the ads sort of would bother me, right? And I think something else worth bearing in mind is because first and foremost, I work a lot from home, right? I make videos at home, so rather than going out to an office or wherever, a lot of my time is spent here. Thus, I just kind of have access to internet. Thus, I don't really need or have a use for, oh, I can download these videos or whatever onto my phone or whatever, my tablet or whatever device, and sort of listen to them at my leisure whenever I want, you know, which of course is another benefit of YouTube Premium. Like I said, it's so difficult to talk about this without sounding so ridiculous and like an advertisement. But I don't know, I figured it was a question that I could answer, and it was one worth attempting to answer. I don't know. You have to, oh, sorry, it's the love dog over there stirring a bit. But yeah, you kind of have to be the judge for yourself, right? Like, how is it worth your money? Right. You know how much your money is worth to you, right? So to speak, right? As far as time is concerned, is that sort of time, is that sort of convenience worth it for you? Right. I don't know. It's a personal thing, right? There's no other way around it, I think. But yeah, that's sort of from the perspective of someone who makes videos, of a creator's perspective. I don't know. It's really nice, right? More and more people keep getting it according to my metrics, very slowly, right? There's not some like rocket, sudden increase of adoption rate. It's pretty slow. It's pretty steady, but unmistakably more people are getting it, and it is constituting a larger percentage of my income here on the platform specifically, on YouTube specifically. It's nice, right? I don't know. I don't know. That'll do it for this week's In Real Life video. As I had said, feel free to submit other questions and whatnot. I don't know. This might be maybe, at least for me as the person making the video, this might be the weirdest one that I've made so far. I don't know. Like I said, it's just weird to talk about. It's a weird topic to try and cover. Like I said, especially without trying to make it sound like an advertisement. I don't know. Maybe I should just ham it up. Yeah, go and get YouTube Premium. What are you doing? Obviously get it. I mean, sure. Or can I even lie? Am I even allowed to lie? This isn't like a video game. I can't just be like, yeah, I have YouTube Premium too, thus you should get it. I don't, right? I can't be like, oh yeah, I tried the product that I'm recommending here. I haven't. I don't have it. They got like a free trial or whatever. I don't know. All right, that ought to do it. As I said, feel free to submit questions. We may do something less question oriented next time. I had a decent idea for something, but who knows? Maybe there'll be a question that just so strikes me that week. All right, until next time, please take care of each other.